Check out my curriculum picks for this upcoming school year now. My kids are finally at two very distinct levels in their learning. My now second grader has really just improved on everything really fast this last school year. So things are about to get interesting. Let's start with language arts. So I'm going to start with what I'm going to be using for my younger daughter. She will technically be in kindergarten, but she's one of these like late birthdays in the year, so she's kind of closer to first grade level. So for my younger daughter, who is in kindergarten/first grade, I will continue to use All About Reading. All About Reading has really been enjoyable for her, so I plan on sticking with it, and it's really helped. I don't use the curriculum in its entirety, and you can learn more about that in the All About Reading review that I did recently, but as long as she's enjoying it and it's teaching her something, I will stick with it. I also plan on incorporating some of these McGuffey's readers. I bought a few of these from the local used bookstore, and I really like them. They're actually a lot like All About Reading. They just don't have all the extra components of it, and it's also written kind of like an old-timey style, which I love old books, and I'm trying to instill a love of old books, so I'm gonna give this a try as well. And then of course I'm going to stick with Explode the Code. She's almost done with book 1, she'll be moving into book 2 soon, so Explode the Code is one of my favorite curriculums. I've done a review on it. We used it last year too for both of my kids, so I'm just gonna stick with what works. She seems to enjoy it, and it really does work. Now, for my older daughter, things are going to get a little interesting because she's kind of aged out of parts of All About Reading, so I don't know how much I'm going to use that with her. I don't know if I'm going to continue on into level 2 of All About Reading with her, because we're kind of getting close to being done with All About Reading Volume 1, or level 1. I had reached out on one of these Facebook groups I'm a part of, which is Homeschool Free Cycle Community, and I asked for a copy of Primary Language Lessons, and someone came through. So someone sent me this for free. It was absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe someone had this. It's comprised of a bunch of like really short lessons, but it's different every day. It kind of reminds me of Lightning Literature in a way, but you don't need to supply outside books and text for it. It's all in here, and it's also an old book, so that always appeals to me. So we're gonna see about this. This includes stuff, you know, you do dictation, copy work, there's grammar, exercises, all sorts of things like that. And I even have the next level up, which is intermediate language lessons, if we get through this whole thing. So I really like the idea of using an older book. I like the idea of her getting that really well-rounded, established education around all things language arts, and I'm really excited to use this year. Also, for my older daughter, she's kind of aged out of Explode the Code. It's kind of getting a little monotonous for her, and she was done with book 3. You know, she could start book 4. I mean, that would be fine, but I'm actually starting something new with her, Beyond the Code. Beyond the Code is a comprehension program that's like along the same lines as Explode the Code, and it looks really interesting. I think that she is going to enjoy it a lot this upcoming school year, and it seems to be right at the level that she's at, so I'm really excited about this. The next thing I want to talk to you about is math. Math is the easiest subject for my homeschool. It's also the most boring to talk about. I will continue to use primary mathematics. I think you probably already knew this. Stacey and I love this curriculum. It's our absolute favorite. I don't see any problems with it, and my younger daughter is still in book 1A. We went really slow this last school year, but my older daughter is now in book 2A, which I'm really excited about, and this curriculum is simply the best. So math is one of these things I never have to worry about. Let's talk about history. And you may have noticed I moved ever so slightly because the sun was literally right above the camera, so I would have been like, I can't see anything, and then I'd be blind by the end of the making of this video. For history, I plan on continuing with Story of the World. This is volume 2. We finished volume 1 last year. I hope to finish all of volume 2 this upcoming year. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, volume 2 of Story of the World, I'm really excited to see where it goes. I don't really know what to say about Story of the World at this point because I also use other history books, living history books, through the Ambleside Online curriculum that teach really specific times in history, very specific places, all this stuff. So Story of the World is very broad, but I do feel like I need it for the map work and the little activities. I think that makes it really fun for the kids, and it also provides samples if I were to be in a charter school or some sort of environment where I have to provide work samples. So of course, in addition to Story of the World, I am going to be continuing with Our Island Story. This is one of the books that is suggested by the Ambleside Online curriculum. This is a history of England for boys and girls. I've talked about this book many, many times. Everyone knows I love it. We're getting close to almost halfway done with this book, and this book is kind of a beast. My kids like beg for me to read this book, and we're reading other fun things too. It's not like this is the only thing I do aloud with them. We do Chronicles of Narnia, we do The Fairy Queen, we do Shakespeare type stuff. They always beg for me to read this, so very exciting. I look forward to continuing to use it this year. Now let's talk about science. You may have detected a bit of reluctance or hesitation in my voice. I'm not good at teaching science, okay? All I have for science right now is Kiwi crates. And this is my most recent one. I actually have 3 stored up because I just don't have the time to like do something hands-on with the kids right at this moment. But Kiwi crate, it's really great. You know, I say bad things about, oh, I'm not good at teaching science, I don't like teaching science, but Kiwi crate really does make it easy, and I do plan on doing a review of them once I have a bunch of like unboxings to kind of show you. But the kids love it. I love it. It's really easy to do. I just need to sit down and do it with them. So these come once a month. So I'll have at least one of these a month to do with my kids. And each one doesn't come with just one activity. There's usually 2 or 3 little aspects to it that the kids can kind of share. But I am looking for something else, potentially, just to fill in the gaps if I have time. Like on the weekends is when I like to do history and science. So we'll see. I was looking at the Rainbow Resource Catalog and I circled a few things, but nothing is really getting me really excited about teaching science. So what I'm looking for is something open and go. I'm looking for something that's also fun, and it's really hard to find anything in science that's open and go and fun, because it's either like a workbook, which is what I used last year and it didn't go over well, or it's more like labs, like activities, experiments, which is not open and go. So let me know if you have a really good suggestion for this. I'm all ears. So I guess that's all of my curriculum picks. You know, when I look at it in a pile next to me, it doesn't look like a lot, but I know that during the school year, I'm gonna be like, this is too much. I'm really excited that we're kind of mixing it up this year, especially with language arts. And then history, we're going to be continuing on into a new volume of Story of the World. Math, we're sticking with the same thing. Science, we're sticking with the same thing, but also maybe introducing something new. So this upcoming school year, I'm kind of thinking about trying new things. I think that that is, you know, the essence of homeschooling, because our kids are constantly learning and growing and changing, and everything has to change with them. So I'm excited to try these new things, and you will hear all about them, I'm sure. Which new curriculums are you trying this year? Let me know in the comments below. I'm dying to know. And don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos just like this one. See you next time.